15 men on the dead man's chest. Hey-o, ho, ho, and a bottle of rum. Why is the rum always gone? Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest was released in 2006 and is directed by Gore Verbinski, who has also directed such films like The Mexican, The Ring, Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, At World's End, and The Lone Ranger. I laugh because it's the big mega film that was The Lone Ranger. And this film is starring Johnny Depp returning as one of the greatest characters ever created, Captain Jack Sparrow, Orlando Bloom, Keira Knightley, Stellan Skarsgård, because you're supposed to have a Skarsgård in every single movie ever created, and Bill Nighy. It's been 13 years since Captain Jack Sparrow made a deal with Davy Jones to be Captain of the Black Pearl. Now that time is up, and his debt needs to be paid. But Captain Jack doesn't want to pay his debt and become a crew member of the Flying Dutchman, so he and the rest of his crew of the Black Pearl try to stay in shallow waters as much as possible. While on the other side of things, Will Turner and Elizabeth Swan's wedding is cancelled because both of them are arrested, facing the hangman's noose. But Lord Cutler Beckett of the East India Trading Company arranges a deal with Will Turner to go find Captain Jack Sparrow and help him retrieve the dead man's chest, because whoever retrieves the chest controls all the oceans of the world. So back in 2003, when the original Pirates of the Caribbean film was released, everyone was thinking, well, it's probably going to be a fun adventure. It's based on a ride, which we really had never seen before. I mean, how big could this thing get? And my God, that thing was huge. All because of one thing, and that is Johnny Depp as Captain Jack Sparrow. A character that no one had any idea what the hell was going on when they were watching the dailies, and is a mixture of Pepe Le Pew and Keith Richards, which is just frickin' brilliant. I couldn't imagine being the producers and the studio heads watching the dailies of this film, watching Johnny Depp be this drunken, weird lunatic on screen and going, what are we making here? But what you do make is shockingly lightning in a bottle, and it was just pure magic in the first Pirates of the Caribbean. So of course, you have to make a sequel to it, and Disney was like, well, screw that, a sequel? We're gonna shoot 2 at a time. And I wish I would have known that when I originally saw this movie. I think I would have expected the ending that we got in Dead Man's Chest a little bit more if I knew that, hey, it was just gonna be one big giant cliffhanger to get to At World's End. Because that's what this movie is. It's the middle chapter that doesn't really go anywhere. It starts a lot of things, but then after you see At World's End, you go, well, you started a lot of things, but you also didn't end a lot of things. You just kind of fooey, wishy-washy. I do remember having a great time watching this film, and even watching it for this review, having it on in the background, it brings me back to my childhood. I have a lot of nostalgia with this. I say childhood, I was a teenager at the time. I was actually 17. I was almost legally an adult. I remember the first watching and hearing all the little callbacks that they had to the first Black Pearl, all these little lines, all these little tiny characters that were very popular and quoted a lot, at least amongst my friends from the very first Pirates of the Caribbean. Just seeing them again, I'm like, yeah, God, those were the best parts of the first one. And now watching it as I'm older and as I'm an adult, I'm realizing, wow, they are relying a lot on nostalgia from just a couple of years before this one. A lot of callbacks. What's the new things that you're giving us? Hey, you remember that dog from the first film with the keys in his mouth? Well, here he is again. And you remember the line where Captain was like, hey, why is the rum gone? Well, he says it again in this movie. And hey, remember when the women slapped Jack Sparrow at Tortuga? Well, it happens again here. So it doesn't lose its impact at all if we keep doing it, right? Yes, unfortunately it does. That's what this movie felt like. Felt like one big, hey, remember what was awesome from the first one? Well, here it is again. Maybe done slightly different, but the intention is still here. So you remember? The only big new thing that we get with this film is Bill Nighy as Davy Jones and the Flying Dutchman ship, which to this day looks really cool. Davy Jones has a squid head, and his beard, or the tentacles, looks awesome. 2006, 2021, it still looks good. I was never really a big fan of his accent, though. And if any of you are familiar with What We Do in the Shadows and you have not seen this movie, he basically sounds like Nandor from that show. Yeah, I want to buy all the creepy paper. Do you feel Dave? Do you feel that dog busy? There were times watching it back in 2006, and times still in 2021 where I go, what did you say? I understand the choice, and it's a good choice. It's a fun little character thing that you're doing here, but what are you saying? But other than that, we get another big just repurposing of the first Pirates of the Caribbean film. Orlando Bloom is still that stiff, trying too hard actor who's portraying Will Turner. Seriously, that guy's delivering this film. It just looks like he is trying way too hard. I take this knife with a promise that I will come back for you, and nothing is gonna stop that. I will not abandon you. I promise. And Keira Knightley as Elizabeth Swan, who I am never gonna not love seeing on screen, has one of the most interesting and probably the most confusing character arcs in this film. When the first Pirates ended, we had the sense that she was 100% in on Will Turner. That's the person that she was in love with. But I'm thinking that maybe the writers, the producers saw all of, the fans who wanted Jack Sparrow and Elizabeth Swan to get together on the island, that they're like, hey, we want to play with that now, and we want to see this relationship kind of bloom, and we get to points where they are centimeters away from each other's lips, and I'm like, oh, okay, you're betrothed, but we're going here? Okay, we're going here. To the point where we eventually do go there. But again, that storyline and character arc doesn't really go anywhere past this film. I remember leaving the theater thinking, why did we make this choice to take Elizabeth Swan down this road? I mean, it's definitely, I wasn't thinking about this, but I'm also thinking it doesn't really make that much sense. And then to finally realize, where it does eventually end up, it still doesn't make sense. But, I mean, that was back in 2006 and 2007, so we've moved on from that time. Hans Zimmer returns to score this film, and his Pirates theme is one of my favorite themes. When you hear it on screen, in trailers, when I'm working out, it's just one of those themes where you're just like, yeah, we want to go do some adventurous shit. Probably one of the greatest adventure film theme songs ever in the history of cinema. It's probably neck and neck with Indiana Jones. Again, this movie is known for Johnny Depp's portrayal of Captain Jack Sparrow, one of the greatest characters ever created in the history of cinema. Other than that, and a couple of new things with Davy Jones, this film is pretty convoluted, and unfortunately, it doesn't lead anywhere. Our climactic battle doesn't really continue at all past this film. Actually, I think in the first 10 minutes, the Kraken in At World's End is learned to be just killed because the East India Trading Company forced Davy Jones to kill the thing. So it's like we built up to this big monster, and then we see the monster. Now we're just never going to see it again, even though the monster won in this film. You have a three-way fight on the beach over the key and over the chest, because people were wronged in the first film, going back and forth, and then another threesome fight scene is happening. It just got so convoluted when, if you go back to the original, it was simple. There was one straight through line. There weren't all of these combobulated subplot lines and deals being had and things being flip-flopped. It's hard to follow at times. And then when you find the end result, you go, well, I was stressing out over figuring out what was happening to the point where I didn't really have to because it led nowhere. I still think Pirates of the Caribbean 2 is a fun time, and it's really fun to go back and watch, and I do like this franchise. I've only watched the fourth Pirates once, and I haven't even seen the fifth one with Javier Bardem, which I heard it was not that good, but I have enjoyed the original trilogy, and from what I've seen of the fourth, so this franchise is one of just those weird things where it's like, yes, I love seeing it on screen, but also when I start diving in, my brain starts melting because I go, well, if you're doing that doesn't really make sense for this, and you start picking it apart, and you got to tell your brain with this franchise to go, no, don't really focus on anything. Just enjoy the fun. And shut up, Caleb. You're dumb. Stupid. I'm gonna give Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest 3.5 out of 5 Blu-rays.
I am above average.
Alright everyone, now comes my favorite part of my videos where I randomly select which movie I'm gonna be watching next, so let's take a look. Half Moon. I don't know what this film is. Okay, after researching it, I see that Half Moon is a very, very, very independent film. It's about a werewolf type thing and a robbery or a heist thing. I bought it at a resale shop for very cheap, and I think there was a very famous actress on the cover that I knew that was like, well, if she's trying, real acting here, let's see what she can do. And that's why it's in my collection. And here it is popping up. So we'll check out Half Moon next time. If any of you have recommendations of films that you want me to review on here, you can make a PayPal donation on the main page of my YouTube channel. Any size donation will do. Just attach your movie recommendation with your donation. And if I have access to it, I will watch it, review it, give you a shout out on the channel, and get my review of it published as quickly as I possibly can. So guys, have you seen Pirates of the Caribbean Dead Man's Chest? What did you think about it? Where does it fall in your ranking of all of the Pirates movies? Whatever you thought, comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell. See you on the next time I'm releasing my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time with my review of Half Moon. So in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.